Hello, my friends. Happy amazing day to you. Great to see so many of you. I'd love to invite you to turn your camera on if you would, so we can be present to one another. And we'll give everyone a few moments to get settled in. There's people that are still joining us, so we'll give you just a chance to make sure you've got something to drink, something to write with, and something to write on, of course. What you can also do is, as you're settling in, is think of something that you're grateful for. And let's switch our state. Let's get ourselves into a state of gratitude, into a state of learning, into a state of receiving, most importantly, because you're going to receive a lot of great information today. And the goal is to be able to apply it, to learn it, to receive it, and then to put it into action. Just had one of my clients tell me that she implemented the training that we taught just a few weeks ago, and in 3 days she made an extra $4,000 by simply applying. So learning is great, but it's the application that makes the difference. And what you'll learn over time, and certainly what I've learned over the years, is that's what makes the difference between a successful practitioner and one who is constantly seeking success. So I invite you today to listen with an open heart and to receive the information, and then figure out what is something that I can do to apply this. It could be one thing, it doesn't have to be everything, but it could be one thing. And what is an action step that I can take today that enables me to make a decision? So being able to decide is also something that differentiates us from everyone else that's out there. And what I found is that the smarter you get, the more intellectual you get, the harder it is to decide at times. Okay. So it's easy for us to over-intellectualize. It's easy for us to over-analyze, and it's easy for us to get paralyzed. So if you've ever felt that way, you're definitely not alone. I've been there. I know what that feels like, but I've also learned to really drop into my heart and to be able to make decisions. If you write anything down today, write this down. The universe loves speed. Success is not an amount of time away. Success is a number of decisions away. It's a number of decisions away. So today, you're going to get to decide if creating a signature program is right for you. You're going to get to decide if you want to do this on your own. You're going to get to decide if you want help in doing this. And you get to decide if you want us to help you do this, or if you want somebody else to help you do this. But decide. Okay? So again, let's turn our cameras on. I want to see Carrie, I want to see Michael, I want to see Janet, I want to see Deborah, Sheila, Ellen, William, Yutka, I want to see you. Carrie, I want to see you. Rebecca, I want to see you. Kat, I want to see you. I see that Debbie is here, Sonia is here, Emma is here, Carrie's here. Hey, Carrie. And we have a very special guest, Michelle, who's here as well. So let's get those cameras on. Let's engage. Let's participate. And I want you to pretend like you're in a room with us. Right? And it's so much easier for me to get your feedback through your facial expressions and also through your body language to know that this is resonating and landing with you. Okay. So if you're here to learn about creating a signature program, you're definitely in the right place. And what I want to start with is getting to know you just a little bit better. So go ahead and type into the chat where you are from. Okay. If you can type into the chat where you're from, it'll be a great way for us to get to know each other. And it's always great to see where people are from. All right. Debbie's here from Tucson, Arizona. Great to see you here, Debbie. Once again, early morning for you. Carrie's here from Guelph. Carrie's here. Another Carrie's here from Wausau. We have Janet from Ottawa. Bill from New Jersey. Hey, Bill. Good to see you, buddy. All right. Great. Sonia's here from the UK. So it's a little bit later in the day for you. Wonderful. So what I want you to do is I want you to dispel any myths, any disbelief, and I want you to dispel any limiting beliefs that you might have. That's one of our objectives today. What you're going to learn today, if you stick around till the end, is how Angela completed her accelerator and has already made her investment back in less than 12 weeks. You'll also learn how Tabitha completed the accelerator, and now it's actually the highest ticket item that she offers, and it's the thing that she sells the most. This is where she created her signature program. You'll also learn how Lara took her years of functional medicine knowledge, used the formula that I'm going to share with you today, and has now applied it and is moving closer towards all 5 freedoms. These are the 5 freedoms that we'll talk about today. And these are the 5 freedoms that I believe that each and every one of you wants. But most importantly, our business model, functional medicine, allows us to create that freedom. Okay. And it's one of the rarest business models that actually enables practitioners to do something really cool with their lives. You'll also learn how one of our students, who's been doing this now for a few years, is onboarding up to 100 people at a time in her program. Okay. And this doesn't mean you have to do that, but I just want to show you what's possible. When we onboard clients, we onboard about 30 to 50 clients at a time when we run our programs. And now we've actually turned them into a cohort-based program, into a evergreen model. So we can onboard and enroll people whenever we want. Today, we're going to be walking through what we call the Perfect Practice Accelerator model. And this is where we teach our clients how to build an entire suite of branded products and services and methodologies to attract new clients and deliver their services in about 90 days. Okay. Now, some people can do it faster. Some people might take them a little bit longer, but we teach it over a 90-day period and provide you with all the guidance, support, and tools that you need. Type in yes in the chat if you would love to see your business transformed in the next 90 days. Go ahead and type in yes for me so I know that you're in the right place. Okay, good. My team's monitoring here. So if you don't type in yes, then we know this isn't for you. But if it is for you, then type in yes. You know, a lot can happen in 90 days. And here's what I've learned. In 90 days will have passed. The question is, who will you have become in those 90 days? And what will your business have become in those 90 days? When you have structure, amazing things are possible. So today we're going to walk you through a structure that has worked for us and countless clients that we've helped. So this structure provides you with the right order to build your signature program in. Here's a little tip for you. We never build our program until we sell it first. Okay. We don't build our program until we sell it first. Now, this might sound crazy because you're at a presentation that's going to teach you how to build your program, but there is more that goes into your program than building it, right? We have to build something that people actually want. And in order for us to do that, we have to understand what our clients want. And in order for us to understand what our clients want, we have to understand what we want to offer people and who we like working with and what problems we like solving. So the common mistake that many people make is they start by designing their program and building a program, and then realizing that they haven't sold that program to anyone, right? So think of it like building a house. If you were a home builder, wouldn't you rather sell the house first and then build it? How many of you think it would be smarter as a home developer and builder to sell the house first and then build it? Okay. Type in me if you'd rather sell the house first and then build it instead of building it and then hoping somebody wants to buy it. Okay. Think about all the speculation. Think about all the guesswork. Think about all the uncertainty. Think about all the lack of, confidence in knowing, is somebody actually going to want this? Are they going to like the color and the floor plan that I'm designing? Right. So it's easy to see why selling it first makes a lot more sense because then you actually have a better perspective on what your clients actually want. Okay. So I want you to note that and make that reference, because I like to use real life examples, especially when it comes to building our business. There's nothing more expensive than building a program no one wants. And this is where a lot of people's dreams go to die. Your business doesn't exist to deliver your program. Your business exists to change people's lives through your program. So people have to want it first, because that actually creates an impetus for us to build it. And of course, that also guides us and motivates us to then actually deliver it. Okay. So we start by understanding our client. We then start by creating kind of a preliminary offer to people. We then learn how to message that offer to people and message our a vision for a healthier world to people. We then might want to create some digital assets, like a one-page website, a simple one-page website. Then we continue to promote our practice. We then drive leads into our practice. We nurture these leads. We educate them. And then we make an offer. Okay. And then once we know people want it, we build it in real time. It's so much easier than you might think. But if you build it and then try to launch it and then figure out how to sell it and then realize that, man, I should have been building an audience for this before I even built this, then you're going to completely, deflate your balloon. So my goal is to take the experience that I've had, over a decade of being in practice, and reverse engineer that process for you in a way that makes sense, in a way that actually aligns with how the road is and should be laid out for you. Okay. Is everyone in agreement with that? Does everyone see how perhaps in the past we may have kind of worked backwards? Okay. And because of that, it leads to frustration. We feel like we wasted a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort. Okay. Thank you, Rhonda. I see you now. So we're going to go through this process and what it looks like. And, it's going to be helpful in helping you understand, what your vision and what your roadmap could look like over 90 days. Because if we do this in the wrong order, just like building a house, right? If you try to put the roof on before you dig the foundation, it's not going to work, no matter how good your roofer is. Okay. So just like we have to build a house in the right order, we want to build your practice and your program in the right order as well. Okay. And it's easier to change things on a piece of paper, right? Like it's easier to change the blueprint than it is to change the house or the foundation after it's been poured, right? It's so much more effort to do that. And it's so much more expensive to do that than it is to design it right from the beginning. So we're going to help you kind of see what that roadmap looks like and maybe even start that design process today. Now, you might be wondering, what is the perfect practice? What is our definition of the perfect practice? Well, our definition is that your perfect practice attracts your ideal clients. It creates transformational results for them, and it creates personal freedom for you. Okay, so attract your ideal clients, create transformational results, and create personal freedom for yourself. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite my dear friend and one of our amazing accelerators, Michelle Malmberg. She's joining us today, and she's going to be sharing how she's used this framework to build her perfect practice, because I want to cast that vision for you. Michelle joined our accelerator in January, and she's going to be sharing how she's actually implemented what you're going to learn today and how it's transformed her. And in fact, she has one of her closing ceremonies going on today. So I want to call her onto the stage early so that she can share what her experience has been like and pass on some of the lessons that she's learned along the way. So Michelle, thanks for being here today.
Sachin, it's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. So what I'd love to know is maybe tell us a little bit about where your practice started, where it was, let's say at the end of 2022, and where it's going, and how far it's come, and where it's going into the near future.
Oh, wow, that brings up a well of emotion. Yikes. my practice was certainly stalled a year ago. I was uncertain as to how I was going to get everything I needed built on the back end. Not my forte, uncertain how to move forward. It was obviously very clear after the last 3 years that I had to have an online presence, that it's necessary to be online. And even though I loved doing a very successful lecture in person. So I was stalled, as mentioned, for a couple of years, and the universe provides, and Sachin showed up in my world once again, and he had offered everything that I had been asking for. I asked for a turnkey system with all of the structure, back end, the systems, the support, so that I could build exactly what I wanted from scratch, the way I wanted it, and be back in front of the people I loved coaching. And it's been an exciting adventure.
Yeah, and you've done such a wonderful job, and you've got such a beautiful and amazing energy. What I'd love to know is, in the time that we've worked together, which literally started in January, right? So it's amazing what we can accomplish in a few months. What did you find shifted in your way of thinking, and what would you tell somebody? And perhaps what would you perhaps lay out to your younger self, and what advice would you give them? So a lot of people who are tuned in today may be stuck or trying to come out of a pattern that many of us have been in, which feels stalled, which feels stuck, which feels like, where do I start? Right. So what advice would you give to someone who's feeling that way?
Follow a good lead. And my first career was in ballroom dance, and it was always a joy to follow a good lead. And so I recognized your good leadership, Sachin, when you reappeared in my world. And as you spoke, I was on one of these weekend calls as well, and I just started ticking off all the boxes, just like, wait a minute, this is everything I need. This is the back end, all of the systems, the connection, the community, the support, the structure. Whoa, this is too good to be true. Can this be true? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I did. I jumped in with both feet. I made it happen. I had a few areas I had to attend to make this work. And I have everything good to say about the Perfect Practice Accelerator. So ask me more questions.
What would you say is, so I like to think this as a time machine, right? Right. When you can learn from other people, learn off of their mistakes, learn off of their time and dime. I always I like jumping on that train. If somebody's already been down this path, I want to follow their lead, as you said. How much time would you say this process has saved you? So the 90 days that you invested, how much time would you say that saved you?
Years and years. I didn't know. I was stalled. I was procrastinating. I was petrified, really. I really did not know how to get going, Sachin. And it was, looking at all of the different software, software platforms and merchant services and health management records. I was overwhelmed as to how to get this even started, and which was best, how to compare, how to integrate, how to put everything together. And honestly, this 3 months has been a dream come true. I've got great friends connected outside of the accelerator, continuing to support each other. What I was surprised to find was 5 decades of connection. So people from their 20s on up, people who had been in practice, brick and mortar, people who were online, people who were coaching, NDs, MDs, DOs, PAs. I mean, it was just, and the sharing has been phenomenal. So has it saved me years? I've got an education from people in a global community. And I mean, it was well beyond my expectations. So,
All right.
yeah.
And the elusive question, and probably the most important question, is now that you've put your program together, you've taken a group of clients through it, maybe in 30 to 60 seconds, you can share some of the highlights of the results that you're now getting with your clients as well. Because that's what we all want, right? We all want results from, and transformation that we take our clients through. So I'd love to hear what that process has been like for you.
Well, my beautiful beta group, we're just finishing up our beta session, 10.29 weeks. Let's see. A mom brought her adult son and her sister in. The mom is thrilled to have her son's ADHD suddenly resolved. He wants to engage with the family, cooks in the kitchen with her. The sister is living a new life. She released over 30 pounds now in the 10 weeks. She has a zest for energy, no longer has to go to physio for her sore knee. I had a woman who was well over 200 pounds. She's down under 200 pounds. She's thrilled. A woman who thought she was dealing with mental health issues, but lo and behold, life is really bright. A woman who had swelling around her ankles, couldn't resolve it, years of medical attention, resolved. A woman who had chronic inflammation, hip injury, and no resolution, years of medical support, supplements, congested liver, resolved. I mean, it's been so exciting to watch. We celebrate every week. That's the best part of the modules, is celebrating everybody's success and excitement. Yeah. And it surprises them, and it lifts us all up.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Yes.
Michelle, thank you for sharing it. I love to know if you have any words of wisdom. I want to make sure you have plenty of time to present and prepare for your call that you have as well. But what words of wisdom can you offer before we dive into the actual training today?
Well, always choose the greener side of the fence. And the greener side of the fence is following a good lead with a great cohort, excellent structure, and in 90 days, you will not even recognize yourself personally or professionally. I just say, join us. It's a blast. It's fast and it's a blast.
Well, we call it the accelerator for a reason, right? We're not trying to hide that, because people want to move fast, right? And the universe loves speed. Most true entrepreneurs love speed, and they're willing to put in the work. So if you're willing to put in the work, you're wanting to get transformational results, you're wanting to attract the right type of clients to your business, and you're also somebody who likes community, connection, collaboration, cooperation, and you're looking to have fun while you're doing it, then this is the right, process for you. Yes, we can build this on our own. Yes, we can certainly take all the time, energy, effort, and money that it took us to build it. But, it's so much easier to do it together, so much easier and more fun to do it as a tribe. So thank you, Michelle. Let's all show her some love. This is how we clap online. We can wiggle our fingers like this. And, it takes a lot of courage to share, and it takes a lot of courage to be of service to people. So I want to acknowledge you, and I want to acknowledge everyone here, because we're doing, very important work, and it takes a lot of guts, for us to put ourselves out there and to do this. And it certainly helps when we have a community of people that are ready and willing to support us. So thank you, Michelle. Lots of love to you. And let me know how the rest of your day goes, and we'll celebrate together.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks, Sachin. Best
You're
wishes.
Welcome. Thank you. All right. So let's keep going on here. You can see how in a short period of time, you can build your perfect practice. You can start putting together the right pieces and start taking people through a process. And then that's going to help you move towards personal freedom. There's 5 freedoms that we'll talk about today, and I want to move you through all of them. Now, this isn't for everybody. That's what I want to make very clear as well. This is for a specific type of practitioner and a specific type of individual. So you have to be entrepreneurial. Being entrepreneurial requires a specific mindset, which we'll talk a little bit more about today. It requires a way of thinking, a way of behaving, a way of taking action. Okay. If you're not entrepreneurial and you just want things done for you, then frankly, there's very few people on this planet that I know that can help you, right? You've got to really believe in you and be sold on yourself. Now, in addition to that, you're going to have some training to be able to apply this. So if you're a medical doctor, chiropractor, naturopath, nurse practitioner, nurse, health coach, FDN, Ayurvedic practitioner, acupuncturist, even a personal trainer, whatever that designation is, if you're in the wellness space, then this structure that we provide is going to be really helpful for you. Now, who this isn't for is people with no formal training. So if you're just kind of starting out, or maybe you're still in school, you can certainly do this if you're still in school. But if you have no formal training and you're looking for a place to start, then we recommend a coaching program like FDN. That's a great place to start. This is also not for people who are scarcity minded. Okay. So scarcity minded people don't like sharing. They don't like collaborating. They like keeping things to themselves. And we're just not interested in attracting that type of person. It's not for people who play small either. So we want big thinkers with big hearts and people who really want to make an impact. It's not for people who like to complain or play victim or people who know it all, right? And I would sense that that's none of you here. However, I just want to make that very, very clear. It's also for smart people. So I have a question for you. Which one is more valuable? The image on the left or the image on the right? Go ahead and type that into the chat. Which one is more valuable? The image on the left or the image on the right? Of course, there's value in both, but the question is, which is more valuable? Okay. So in my opinion, I would say the one on the right is more valuable. Okay. The one on the left kind of represents many businesses right now because most of us have raw material, right? Your knowledge, your experience, the trainings that you've taken, the books that you've read, the podcasts that you've read. Right now, that's represented on the left. But when you have a blueprint, when you have a way of packaging up that knowledge and restructuring it, you can take something that looks like a pile of junk and turn it into a beautiful business, right? You can turn that raw material with a blueprint into something that is meaningful and exponentially increases the value of what you have to offer, right? So I can use structure to increase value. Does everyone see that? Raise your hand if you see that. Okay. And how many of you can relate to this, that you know so much and you've taken so many trainings and you've done so many things and it feels like that pile of wood on the left, right? So it's there, which means you're so close, but what you need is a plan. Okay. And, you know, it's one thing to have a plan, but it's another thing to have a strategy to put it all together and to know who to call and when to call them, right? So we don't call the roofing team on day one. Who do we call first? We call the surveyors first, right? They're going to survey the land, make sure that, you know, they're going to come and put the flags in the ground, make sure there's no gas lines or water lines or anything like that. And then we're going to survey the land so we know how to grade it properly. And then we're going to dig the hole for the foundation. The most expensive part of a house is actually digging the foundation and pouring that foundation. Okay, so we don't see that goes underground, just like many aspects of our business are not public facing, but are absolutely crucial to providing us with structure. And that's what we like to do, is provide you with that foundation and then provide you with the structure to take your raw material and make it worth more. Okay. And people pay for structure, right? You know, I would pay a lot more for the image on the right than I would pay the image on the left, right? The raw materials might be $20,000 on the left, but now that I've got a plan and I've created structure to it, now this house, this structure here is worth maybe $100,000, right? So we can multiply the value of something that we have with a plan. Very important, very crucial understanding and a way of shifting your mindset. Now, what might be going through your head is very obvious. Sachin, I'm new to this. Sachin, I'm still mastering functional medicine. You know who else is mastering functional medicine? Mark Hyman is still mastering functional medicine. Jeff Bland is still mastering functional medicine. Jay Davidson and Todd Watts are still mastering functional medicine. We're all mastering this. It's a never-ending quest and a never-ending journey. And just like your house, many of us over time, we continue to add to our homes, right? We add new artwork, we add new furniture, we might change a rug or two, we might paint a wall. So just like our house is an always evolving structure, our business is an always evolving structure, as is our knowledge. And what's cool about what we do is we're in the software business, so we can always update our knowledge. We can always update our teachings. We can always update our education. Some of you might be thinking, Sachin, I don't have time, right? Well, if you don't have time to do it right, you don't have time to do it wrong. Okay. So we actually help people who don't have time and people who don't have the right, management of their time. We also have people who've tried a bunch of things and nothing has worked for them. The question that always comes up is, will this work for my niche? And we'll talk about how to decide who you want to work with and what the best way to do that is. We'll also help you in understanding how to launch this program so that you can recover your investment. Okay. One of the things that I've learned over the years, and this is my famous burrito story. So when I was younger, eating out was a big deal. Okay. Now it's rare that we eat out, especially at a fast food chain, but Taco Bell was our thing. Growing up vegetarian, and I'm still vegetarian, but being vegetarian, you had limited options, right? You couldn't go to, McDonald's or Burger King or any of those other places. However, Taco Bell had bean burritos. And those were pound for pound the cheapest thing that you could buy. They weighed the most and costed the least. So it was kind of a good deal. Taco Bell eventually went from charging 69 cents all the way to charging 99 cents for their burritos. And when they became 99 cents, it became a unit of currency for us. So my brother and I would ask ourselves, if we wanted to buy something, we would equate it to burritos instead of dollars, because that was something that was tangible and real to us. If we wanted to buy a pair of pants for $50, we would say, do I want those pants or do I want 50 bean burritos? Okay. And usually bean burritos won out. So I want you to change the units that you operate with. The units that you need to start thinking in your business is based on what you charge your clients. So if you charge your clients $1,000, that becomes a unit. If you charge your clients $1,500, right? Our starting programs are $1,500. So if I'm trying to do some math in my head and I want to invest in a program that's let's say, $5,000, well, that's 3 new patients, right? 3 to 4 new patients, and I've recovered my investment. It's so much easier for me to say 3 to 4 new patients than it is to say $5,000. Okay. Because those are the units that I operate in. I don't operate in singles. I operate in units, and those units in my business are the number of clients. Okay. And what I charge those clients. So I'm curious what your units are. What does the value of 1 new patient equal to you? We want to think of not just the initial investment that they make, but what is the lifetime value? Lifetime value is, will they refer somebody else? Lifetime value is, will they purchase additional supplements? Lifetime value is, will they purchase additional programs, or will they have ongoing services? Okay, so the average lifetime value of our client in our practice is around $5,000. Okay, so over the course of their lifetime, they will be, of course, priceless to us in value. However, if we break it down to numbers, they're worth about $5,000 to us. So what I want you to think about is what is the lifetime value of a client to you? Okay, so if somebody were to say yes to you today, over the next 5 years, what would that client be worth to you? And you can estimate this. If you don't know the number, just give it an estimation. But I'm curious so that we can all have our own unit to work with. So go ahead and type that into the chat for me so I know what units you're working with. So Rhonda says units means programs to me. Yeah. So what do you sell your program for? And if you don't know yet, you can put that in a question mark. Okay, so for Rhonda, it's $5,000. Okay, so Debbie's not sure yet. Deborah Wilson says 3,000. Emma says 2,500. Okay, Carrie says 1,500. Okay, so now what this means is this makes it easier for us to decide when we're making a decision in regards to our business. One of the things that I learned as an entrepreneur is that you can have anything you want as long as you can make it worth more than what you paid for it. Okay. So a question that comes up naturally is, Sachin, what do I charge for this program? What do I charge for any program that I put together? And we'll touch on that a little bit today. Some of you might just be getting started. Okay. You might just be getting started in your business. So I just want you to know that you're in the right place. And I'm curious if any of this sounds familiar to you, that you may not have a following, you may not know where to start, you may not have time, you may not have tech skills, you may not have a brand, you may not have traffic coming to your website, you may not have a list that you've built out yet, you may not even have a signature program or a service that you can offer people. Type in me if you can relate to that. If you're just starting out or you feel like you're just starting out, then type in me. I just want to see how many of you feel that way. And if that's the case, then you're in the right place. Because here's the thing, we all start somewhere. And who I specialize in helping is people who are just getting started. Okay. I specialize in working in practitioners who are trying to go from 0 to 100K. Sometimes negative, whatever that amount is to 100K. But that's who we work with. People who are just getting started. That's who this conversation that we're having today is for. So you're in the right place if you typed in me. Now, in business, the most important sale that we make is being sold on ourselves. So are you sold on yourself? Because if you're not sold on yourself or your services and the value that you offer people, it's going to be impossible for you to make an offer with integrity to somebody else. So the most important sale that we make is to ourselves. Okay. So now that you know and I know you're in the right place, what I'd love to have is a volunteer. So I want someone who really resonates and aligns with this, who's perhaps maybe new to this process. Maybe Debbie. I'm gonna call on Debbie. Would you be open to volunteering yourself? Being voluntold. Thank you. And this is to return the many, many wonderful gifts that you've given me. So I'm going to give this gift to you today. Debbie, perhaps you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more about you, where you're from, and what type of practitioner you are.
So I think you've got a couple of Deborahs. You're talking about me, Debbie, right?
Determined Debbie, yes.
Okay. All right. So my name is Debbie Deno. I'm a chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner with over 30 years of experience. And I practiced for 20 years, took a break and taught at a university for 12. And the last 3 years, I've been the director of education for Cellcore. And I'm determined to also build a practice that I can continue. I'm 57. I want to work another 10 to 15 years and change healthcare. I want to be part of that. So that's why I'm
All
here.
right. Amazing. So is there a particular type of person that you like to help or avatar that you've identified that really resonates with you?
Right. Going back into practice, I'm really passionate about patients that have issues with anxiety and depression, but more so practitioners. I've had students that are in their 20s and 30s in the last year that have had heart attacks and strokes. And I can't stand it anymore. I want to help practitioners get better.
Amazing. And so tell me, if we're talking about your ideal client, I just want to make sure I get this right. Are you working to try to help people with mental health issues? Like, who would you say, if you were to market to a particular audience, that would be?
So if it was practitioners, the ones that have some kind of chronic illness, for patients, yes, I would want to work mostly with people that are dealing with anxiety and depression.
Okay. And why is that important to you?
Because of personal experience, family experience, and then working at a chiropractic college. If any of you have worked with students, you know what that's like. It's a hard program. And I see people that are in their 20s and they're broke and busted. And I don't mean their bank account. I mean emotionally and physically.
Okay.
So that touches me.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And so one of the reasons I ask is because our why is so important in this journey. Okay. So as you're kind of paying attention to this, I'm gonna be writing some things down. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I'm writing on my iPad, and I'm gonna start sharing. So we're gonna kind of talk through this process so that in real time we're gonna start building out what your program might look like and how you might start offering it and putting it out there in the world. So let me just pull this up here real quick, and I want all of you to kind of follow along with this process. So here we see, Debbie's talked about anxiety and depression, right? So this is something that's important to her. She's identified that she's passionate about this. Maybe, and I don't want to make any assumptions, maybe she's experienced this at some point in her life, or she has witnessed how it affects people close to her, which is what she described. So our niche audience or our ideal client that we want to work with usually is somebody who is very similar to us, or we are very passionate about helping people with this challenge. So in this case, it could be yourself, or it could be your children, or it could be people that you deeply care about that are struggling with a problem. And you recognize the magnitude of the problem, but you also are passionate about helping these people, because there's lots of big problems out there. But you have to be passionate about helping these people, and you have to have a deep sense of why. Okay, so that deep sense of why is crucially important, because your why is going to be what wakes you up in the morning. It's going to be what drives you. It's going to be what helps you push through the limiting beliefs or the barriers or the trolls or the people in your life that may not believe in you as much as they should or as much as you'd like them to. That why has to be what drives you. Okay. Now, just because you can help everybody, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to help as many people as you can, but when you're trying to build a practice or you're trying to build a business, we have to make sure that there's a match between the problem that we solve and the marketplace as well, right? Because it's so much easier to build a business when you solve a problem that the marketplace has. Okay. So we've identified this, and what we would start to do is break this down a little bit further. So for people with anxiety, that can occur all the way from, young child all the way up to adulthood, right? And everywhere, of course, in between and up and down and sideways. So is there a particular type of person that struggles with anxiety that you like to work with? Maybe it's students, maybe it's executives, maybe it's moms, maybe it's moms. Okay. So I'm just going to write that down here. Moms, right? And so moms are awesome because they are usually the neck of the household, right? Where the neck turns, the head goes, so to speak. And moms play a crucial role in a child's health. They play a crucial role in their spouse's health, and they're usually the backbone of the family. So understanding the challenges that moms have is going to be very important to us, especially in our messaging. Okay. So now that as you're writing things down, I want you to identify who your audience is, and not just what problem they have, but who are they? What is the demographic of these people? Now, maybe we can break down moms even further. Single moms or married moms? Doesn't matter. Any preference? Okay.
Sorry. Married.
Married. Okay.
Married with kids, probably in that 30 to 40 age demographic.
Okay. So 30 to 40, right? Now, next question I would have is these moms who are in that 30 to 40 range, what are some of the limiting beliefs that they might have, or what are some of the things that might prevent them from seeking care?
I don't have time. I don't have money. I need to focus on my family.
Okay. So time, money, and family. So knowing these limiting beliefs that these individuals have, it's important for us to make sure we're articulating that in our messaging, right? So we want to design a program that actually solves for all the reasons they wouldn't do the program, or all the reasons that would prevent them, right? So if we know that time is valuable to them, we want to emphasize that our program saves them time, or design a program with that in mind. If money is a challenge for them, we want to emphasize that we've created an affordable solution for them. And I can promise you, when you have a process, it's much more affordable for you to deliver care to your clients. And if taking care of their family is important, then our messaging has to also articulate that the best way for you to take care of your family is to model health for them. And the only way to do that is for you to be healthy. Anything else that might prevent them from taking action?
I think those are the big ones, but
Those are the big ones.
I mean,
okay.
Certainly, I'm not as important as other, I'm not worthy or things like that. You hear that a lot.
Okay.
Everybody else's needs are more important.
Yeah, self-worth issues. So a lot of times that comes with reframing and education, right? Kind of what I said earlier, which is how do we get them to see that their health is crucially important to their family's wellness, right? So that needs to come through in our messaging. Now, somebody who has anxiety, depression, perhaps mental, other mental health disorders, what are the things the areas that they need to focus on? So I'll start with one, just to kind of lead us off. One would be gut health, right? What else do they need to focus on?
Sleep.
Okay. And just keep rhyming them off.
And other people can chime in too, but that whole toxicity thing falls into that gut health.
Okay. How about relationships?
Oh, yeah. Releasing emotional trauma.
So let's say stress / trauma. That's a big one.
Movement. I mean, all the lifestyle things.
Okay. And how about lighting plays a role, right? Toxic lighting can affect our mood.
For sure.
Okay. Let's see. How about breathing?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Can't forget that. Okay. What else can you think of? Maybe nutrition?
Oh, yes. I was thinking about all that in gut health, but sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I guess when I think gut health, I'm thinking microbiome.
Right.
Parasites, right? Things like that.
Hormone issues, all kinds of stuff.
Right. That's another one. Hormones. Okay. So now we kind of have an outline of what your program should include. So now what we've done is, and what I'm hoping all of you have done as well, in as we're doing this together, is now we've kind of designed a curriculum. Okay. Now, Debbie, do you think you could talk about movement for 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think you could talk about sleep for 20 minutes?
Every one of these things.
Every one of these things, right? So here's your curriculum. Do you think that you could create a structured guideline of, here's a checklist of what you need to focus on with sleep. Here's a checklist of what you need to focus on with toxicity. Here's a checklist of things you need to think about when we're talking about breathing correctly, right?
100%.
So now you've got your curriculum, and certainly there's lots of resources online to dive a little bit deeper. There's books that you could read, podcasts that you can listen to. And, because you already have a baseline and foundation of knowledge to work with and experience to work with, you've essentially designed your curriculum now, right? So now we're taking that raw material, all these things that you know, right? That pile of wood that we showed you earlier. And now we're starting to create some structure around it, right? We're starting to put the wire frame together. Okay. Now we haven't made it beautiful and pretty just yet, right? And we haven't organized what you're going to teach first and those type of things, but that's easy to do. Okay.
Great.
Now, one of the things that we would want to do is recognize that as you're building something like this out, you don't want to build it first. You'd want to sell this first. Okay. And the reason that's important is because when we sell it, it actually compels us to build it. It creates pressure for us to build it. Now, what's also fascinating about this is that if you're just starting out, which is an important consideration, is could you offer this one-on-one?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So in the beginning, we might offer it one-on-one to people. Right? We don't have to wait for a whole group of people to want this. So I want you to kind of draw a triangle with me that looks like this. And you can write the number 4, the number 16, and you can put a little infinity symbol down here. So what's important about this to recognize is that one-on-one is awesome, but one-on-one is also very limited. There's only a certain number of hours in the day. And I would say that the average practitioner can work about 25 hours per week. Okay. Anything more than that, especially in the work that we do, the level of detail that's involved and follow up and, all that stuff can be a bit of a challenge. So I would say 25 hours a week. And really, I don't wish for you to work much more than that. Okay. So this kind of sets kind of a ceiling, right? Because usually for every hour we put in face-to-face time, there's probably an hour of prep or follow-up that takes place. Okay. So this 25 can quickly turn into 40 hours, which we would say is a standard week. Now, what if you could help more people in less time, right? So as your 25 hours starts filling up and you're starting to get more referrals and you're starting to build momentum in your business, you might consider that, hey, there's a lot of people that I could help. And I find myself repeating the same things over and over again. So instead of taking all these things and, repeating them over and over with my clients, what if I could just package this knowledge up and share it in a group? Because everyone that has anxiety and depression needs to know this information. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now you've created an efficiency in your business that allows you to have much more impact. So instead of working 25 hours a week, if everyone there is there to solve the same challenge and the same problem, then you could have 25 clients and train them and coach them for an hour. And now you can see how much more leveraged you are, right? You could literally work 1 hour a day, which is 5 hours a week. And you could have way more than 25 clients that you can help, right? So this can turn into, let's say 5 hours per week, but the number of people that you can help is many. Now, Debbie, since you're so determined, what if we could take those lessons that you trained, record them, and then package them up into a program that everyone could benefit from, right? How cool would that be? So now your involvement is 0 hours a week. And your impact is really infinity, right? Sky's the limit. So we start with one-on-one, right? Especially in the beginning, if you're just starting out. We make sure our program works, right? We offer it to people, get feedback. We ensure that it's delivering outcomes and results for people, which I'm sure Debbie's program would. And then now we have a framework that we can move into a one-to-many model, which we can then move into a one-to-infinity model. Now, in our office, we actually create a hybrid program, which is what all of you can do as well. So we have a one-on-one component. We have 30-minute appointments with some of our clients. We have a group component. We have one meeting a week. And then we have a self-study program. So they're able to learn these modules and learn these trainings on their own. My philosophy is that one-on-one time is for transformational conversations, not for educational conversations. All right, education can occur on their own time or in a group setting. Okay, so the price point obviously is going to be much higher for a one-on-one program, right? And the group program is going to be more affordable. And then the 1 to infinity model is going to be even more affordable. Okay, so we get to decide what those price points are. Just out of curiosity, Debbie, how much would you charge for a one-on-one program with somebody?
Probably $1,000 to $2,000.
Okay, I'm going to raise
depending
that fee.
on the length. Yeah.
So I'm going to say $3,000 for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Certainly, with your experience, it's at $3,000. You're offering tremendous value, and I think that's fair. Okay. Your group program might be about half that price.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the earning potential is much higher because you're more leveraged. And then your self-study program, let's say, is $500, right? Or it could be whatever you consider to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we have 3 different price points, and now what we've created is we've eventually created a yes, yes, or yes offer. So when somebody gets on a call with you, no matter where they are in the economic scale, they could choose a program that fits their needs. Okay, so over the course of 90 days, 180 days, do you think you could build this out?
Sure.
Okay, and certainly it'd be faster if you had help, right? If
Yes.
you had structure and a blueprint and guidance to be able to do that.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now what we need to do is, now that we have the structure, the first thing that we'd want to do, because writing this down, kind of getting this key concept is pretty straightforward. But going back to how we want to build this out, we want to start putting our message together, right? That's one of the most important things, is identifying, will somebody actually buy this? Will somebody actually want to purchase this? So we have to ask that question first. And that's where our messaging and marketing becomes so important. Because if you're putting this message out there, and anxiety, depression, this is a huge issue, right? Tens of millions of people are affected by it, hundreds of millions worldwide. So it's a huge problem. So I'm assuming that there's going to be a strong signal there. But what you have to do is you have to educate the market first. Because aren't there already kind of solutions out there for this problem? Maybe not the solutions that we would approve of or we would want for people. But we have to be aware of what's out there. And so doing market research is going to be very important. We use a tool called Answer the Public. And what Answer the Public does is it allows us to identify what people are actually searching for. Because if we can figure that out, it takes the guesswork out of our marketing. So let me pull this up here. And we can do a little bit of market research so we can see what people are looking for. I'm going to put anxiety to start with. So what Answer the Public is it's a free tool that you can use. And it'll tell you what the search volume is. It'll tell you how expensive it might be to market to this demographic, how competitive it is. And it'll also indicate to you what are the most common questions that people have about this problem. Okay. I know it might be small on your side, so let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. But we'll focus in on one section here. It won't let me do it. Okay. So here are the most common questions that people are typing into Google. And so I'll start with the will section. Will anxiety go away? Will anxiety medication help with overthinking? Will anxiety raise blood pressure? Will anxiety ever go away? Will anxiety cause chest pain? Will anxiety kill you? Will it cause shortness of breath? Will medication help? Will it make you throw up? Will it make you tired? Will it make you dizzy? Will it cause nausea, weight loss? Will it raise your blood sugar? These are the questions that people actually have about this problem. Okay. Now, if we go back to what Debbie's program talked about, right, what you'll notice is that all the modules that she created or preliminarily created, you're not going to find those here, right? People aren't searching, is anxiety caused by my microbiome? People may not be searching, is anxiety caused by toxicity? People may not be searching, is anxiety caused by poor lighting or poor breathing? Because an uneducated population doesn't know what questions to ask, right? And because they never ask the right questions, they never actually get to the solution. So what we have to understand when we're building out our program is, what is the average person looking for? Okay. The biggest opportunity that we have isn't the people that are ready to buy, isn't the people that are aware of functional medicine, right? That is a opportunity. The biggest opportunity is getting people that don't even know that we exist and educating them and being that person that educates them, because then you are the expert in their eyes. Right? If we're all trying to competitively go after the tip of the spear and everyone who knows about functional medicine, we're missing 97% of the population that doesn't even know we exist. So we educate people by creating content that answers these questions, but then we add a spin, which is how we actually solve this problem and how it's different. Okay, so the marketing mistake that oftentimes, I've made and some of us will make without having the awareness is we'll go out there and we'll start educating people based on what we think they want to know. We're answering questions that nobody's even asking. So we want to make sure we're first answering questions that people are asking. We sell people what they want, but then we give them what they need. So we get buy-in by answering questions that they have, and then we get total buy-in and paradigm shift by showing them that what we do is different and how it's different. Okay, is everyone following this? Okay, so what we don't want to do is project what we think people need. We want to do market research to know what they're actually looking for. And so here are potentially 100 different Facebook Reels, 100 different posts that you could write to educate the average person who is solution unaware. The majority of people don't even know that functional medicine can help them. They don't know that there is an actual natural solution. And it sounds crazy to say that, and it's disheartening at times to say that, but it's the truth. And that's where the greatest opportunity lies. If you can be the first person to introduce people to the concepts that you teach and connect the dots for them, then you become the perceived subject matter expert. They're always going to turn to you when they have questions about this problem. All right. Everyone following along so far? Is this helpful to kind of see it in action. Okay. So if I was starting from scratch or, looking to, to kind of reinvent myself or restructure my business, these are the type of things that I would be doing, is really searching what are people looking for? Because once I know that, then I know how to communicate my message to the public. Now, what I can also do with this knowledge and, about an hour of research, I might start thinking about, how am I going to attract people and collect their email addresses? So what we'd want to do is we'd want to create a lead magnet, right? We'd want to create some sort of resource so that when somebody raises their hand, we can send them there to start getting some information. Maybe Debbie creates a Facebook group, right? If she likes promoting on Facebook, maybe she creates a Facebook group. Maybe she creates a lead magnet where she can collect people's email addresses. That's one of the holy grails of your business, is collecting people's email addresses. So maybe she creates a guide, the 5 hidden causes of anxiety that your doctor didn't tell you about, or the 5 overlooked causes of anxiety that your doctor never told you about. Or how about this? Why my anxiety medication isn't working. So start thinking of a guide that you can create. And this guide then is a way for you to get people's email addresses in exchange for valuable information. And what this will do is it will create aha moments for people, because Debbie's going to knock their socks off. Right? If the number one question is, will anxiety ever go away? Maybe our guide needs to be, will my anxiety ever go away? Question mark. Will my anxiety ever go away? Question mark. The subtitle could be 5 overlooked causes of anxiety that your doctor never told you about. Okay. Debbie, has this been helpful for you? All right. So my pleasure. So we've started the process, right? We've started taking that raw material. We've done some surveying, right? Remember, before we start digging, we start surveying and prospecting the land, right? Understanding what we're working with, and then we start digging the foundation. Right? So right now we've spent about half an hour, but we can already see how this structure is going to be helpful in designing the program. Now, some questions that come up, about supplements and all that stuff with your program, that's up to you, right? Our programs don't include any supplements because we often customize that for our clients. Or if we do include supplements, they might be foundational things, essential things that everyone needs. We leave that up to you, right? You can structure your business or your practice however you see fit, whatever makes the most sense for you and whatever makes the most sense for your clients. You have that autonomy and flexibility to do that. All right. Who else found this helpful? Did you get some insights and ideas on how to, start creating some structure, to start doing a little bit of research, to start thinking about, okay, what's going to be helpful for people? Right? What are people actually looking for? Right? How many of you have realized maybe you've created a message that people, or answered questions that people aren't asking? Be honest. Right? Raise your hand if that's the case. Right? I see you nodding your head, but raise your hand. Just, all progress starts by telling the truth. Right? And what this leads to is frustration. And what this leads to is us throwing in the towel, or what it leads to is us thinking, well, nobody's interested in this. Right? And then that leads to nobody's interested in us. right? And then that leads to our beliefs start becoming limited. So it's absolutely crucial that we answer questions that people are asking. And then we structure our knowledge in a way that makes it unique, right? So most people who have anxiety and depression, 97% of the population, have never seen such a comprehensive approach to anxiety and depression. Perhaps had no idea that everything is connected to everything. Perhaps had no idea that toxins play a role, that how they breathe plays a role. And these are all things that they're never going to have a conversation with their traditional practitioner about. And these are all things that improve global health for the individual. Okay. So last night I was speaking at an event, and I said a few things that really struck a chord with a few couples, and they came up to me and started talking to me afterwards, and they said, "Hey, we really need you to work with our daughter." And I started explaining our process to them, which is, very similar to what Debbie outlined. Like you can all probably see that the process and the curriculum that Debbie outlined, I could replace anxiety with anything else, right? I could replace it with thyroid disease. I could replace it with autoimmunity. I could replace it with cognitive decline. I could replace it with weight loss, right? All of these things, because everything is connected to everything, it's really how we position it and market it, right? It's really how we tell the story. So their daughter has Graves' disease, and, she's been struggling a little bit, and, she's very skeptical. I said, perfect. That's exactly who our program is designed for, because we test, we analyze, and we take you through a structured process. It turns out she's a lawyer, so they were like, oh my God, she's so going to love you. Right? So people value structure. They value that you have a plan for them. They value that you have a blueprint that you're going to take them through. So taking that raw material and restructuring it is very crucial to your business. What this also creates in your business is intellectual property, right? It creates a proprietary process that you've developed and people can see and recognize the value of. So this is what our program looks like. So when we start structuring it a little bit more, you can start seeing that when we work with clients, we optimize their energy, we focus on sleep, on joyful movement, on functional lab testing, circadian rhythm, balanced hormones, inflammation. We left that out of yours. So maybe we want to add that onto yours, Debbie. Inflammation is a big one, as you know. Healthy weight, daily monitoring, autonomic balance, healthy digestion, and enhanced breathing. So you can see the program that Debbie designed is almost identical to the program that we designed, even though we help a slightly different avatar. Okay. When she's connecting the dots for her clients, she's going to connect these things back to anxiety, right? She's going to talk about how sleep affects anxiety. When I work with my clients, I'm going to talk about how sleep affects metabolic wellness. I'm going to talk about how digestion affects metabolism. Right? So we can take that same knowledge, but now we're just repackaging it in a way that is more specific to that person's problem. Now, if Debbie drew this out, it would look, the colors would be different, the name of the program would be different, her logo would be different, it would be unrecognizable. But the frame is the same, right? If you've ever had the honor of building a house or purchasing a house before it's built, when you go to the builder, there might be one floor plan with 5 or 6 different elevations. So the homes, when you drive by them, look totally different. And even when you walk in them, they're totally different. If all of us bought the exact same house on the same street, the artwork would be different, the landscaping would be different, the colors would be different, the elevation would be different. That home would be uniquely ours. Okay. And that's the beauty of creating a program using a framework, is that you're able to make it your own. So in the Perfect Practice Accelerator, what we would do is we've got a little bit more clarity on the brand script, right? We actually would do a 2-hour deep dive with you to go through this. We start customizing our offer and start thinking through what is it that people want. Now we have to start mastering our message. So we start researching, surveying what people are looking for. And then we want to create some sort of way for people to give us their email addresses. So we might create a one-page website that has a lead magnet on it, or we might create a simple lead magnet page. Okay. And of course, we have to message and promote our program to people or promote our solution to people so that they're excited to opt in. So the guide title that I gave Debbie, using the research that we did, is "Why Won't My Anxiety Go Away? 5 Commonly Overlooked Causes of Anxiety That Your Doctor Never Told You About." And all Debbie has to do is, if she joins our program, we would give her the template, right? We would give her the process. We would help her build it in real time. And in less than a few days, she would have that done. And then what she would do is she'd start directing people towards it, right? So if she creates a Facebook reel and it takes off, she would direct people to her free guide, right? And so then we would nurture those leads. We would educate them. We would offer value to them. We would run a masterclass for them and invite them. For those that are the right fit, we would invite them to get on a phone call with us, right? Do a discovery call with us. And of course, there's little micro steps in between. And then when she's sold her program, she would build it, right? Because what did she tell me? Yes, she can talk about gut health for 20 minutes. Yes, she could talk about hormones, for hours, I'm sure, toxicity, like all of these things, she's already got domain expertise. So it's not going to take her long. If she's working with people one-on-one, it's conversational. But if she's working with a group, it could still be conversational. It's not going to take her long to get her talking points together. And those talking points can be packaged up into a little micro presentation, which can then be recorded. And that can turn into an evergreen education for people, right? You can upload that into your EHR, like Practice Better, and now people can watch that over and over again. You could actually set it up so that, hey, this week we're going to be talking about anxiety and digestive health. I recorded a 20-minute introductory training for you. I want you to watch this training before our meeting on Wednesday. And I'm going to answer all the questions that you have, right? So now that time is reserved for laser coaching, helping people get to the root of their issues, right? For transformational outcomes. So there's different ways that you could structure this based on what feels good to you, right? You have that autonomy and flexibility to be able to do that. All right, I want you to write down the word 4 levers on your page. So there's 4 crucial levers in your business, and we want to pull on the last 2 levers, which I'm going to share with you. I'll tell you what the first 2 are. The first 2 levers are people and the second one is money. So let's see, the 4 levers. One is people. The other one is money. So we can hire people to help us, or we can borrow money to help us grow, right? Now, these levers are not very well leveraged. People can only work so many hours a day, right? People need vacation. People have families. We don't want our team members working throughout the night. So we're not as levered here, but these are important things to consider. The next lever, number 3, is media. So media is where we're most leveraged or very leveraged, right? If I record a video, if Debbie records a video, people can watch that as many times as they want. They can share it with their family. They can watch it at 2:00 in the morning. They can watch it while they're driving to work, right? Or listen to it while they're driving to work or while they're exercising. And guess what? Debbie doesn't have to be there while that's happening. Okay, so she's very leveraged, and the client's happy because they can stop, they can pause, they can take notes, they can share, and they can listen to it over and over again. The fourth lever is basically what we would call either intellectual property or code. Now, we're very leveraged with code or IP because once she develops a process, then other people can run that process, right? So in our program, in our practice, once we've developed this IP and we know it works and it's creating results, then it's very easy to plug in a coach. And it's very easy for them to be successful because they're following the code, they're following the system. And that's what, developing your signature program, that's what you want to keep in mind. How do I leverage media? And how do I codify my knowledge so that I can create reproducible results? Whenever you have intellectual property that's unique to you and your business, it increases the value of your business. What code also does is it creates safety for your clients. What code also does is it eliminates cross-shopping. Right? So if we name Debbie's program, let's say we call it the Deno method. All right, where else can I buy the Deno method? Is there anywhere else on the planet that I could buy it? No. All right, so now we've eliminated competition, we've eliminated confusion, we've eliminated cross-shopping. And when you're essentially the only person offering this, then you get to set your prices. You're not a commodity anymore. Okay. Is this helpful so far? All right, perfect. So I want you to draw another triangle for me. And we're going to talk about positioning. And we're going to divide this into 4 sections. This framework comes from a gentleman named Simon Bowen, and it's called the SAGE formula. Okay. So on the bottom, we have a vendor. A vendor sells a commodity based on price. So if we were all selling the same thing, if we're all selling, let's say, functional medicine services or health coaching services, then guess what? People will shop around based on price. Okay. Oh, I saw that this person charges X amount, and so on and so forth. All right. So we're not well differentiated enough. The next is a thought leader. A thought leader sells based on, I know more than you. And that gap in knowledge is why you're going to hire me. The next is the hero. A hero sells based on the idea that you can't help yourself, that somebody else has to come and help you. So the hero and the thought leader sell based on ego. And at the very top here is the sage. The sage positions their client as the hero. The sage creates a roadmap for people. The sage sells based on presence, not on pressure. The sage offers simple and profound wisdom. And the sage doesn't burn themselves out in the process. Okay, it's when we try to be a hero to everybody, we burn ourselves out. But if we position ourselves as the sage and we're well leveraged in our business, then burnout's not an issue. Okay, so the sage sells based on presence, on simplicity, from experience, wisdom, and positioning the client as the hero. This is how we want to position ourselves. Okay. And it's hard to do that if you're thinking of your business based on commoditizing yourself. Right. Or if you're just, you're just out there putting information. Or if you're just out there trying to save everyone that you possibly can that comes to you, right? We want to be in this position here at the top, in the sage position. And the one way that we could do that is by packaging up our knowledge and making it easy and simple for people to go through. Okay. And that's what this accelerator framework enables you to do. So how many of you can see that if you had a process like this, if you were guided through this process, if we could spend 12 weeks working on your business this way, implementing tools, implementing the right technology, that in 90 days, you would have a totally transformed business, right? Like what we did in less than an hour with Debbie is, in my opinion, extremely valuable because now she's got a bit of a skeleton to work with. Now, it doesn't stop here, right? There's a lot more work ahead, but we can see that with these right frameworks, and Sonia says so many light bulb moments. Yeah. And that's what we help you do is we help you take this raw material and create structure around it. And then, put the right step after, one step after the other, right? That's our goal is how do we create the right next step for you so that you're not feeling overwhelmed or you're not wasting your time. So there's many ways that you can offer your program. Now, when you're putting your program together, it happens in real time. So if this week Debbie's going to be teaching about digestion, guess what? She doesn't have to put that presentation together months in advance. She gets to put it together that week. Right? So we build as we go. A big mistake people make is they build everything out and then they sell it, only to realize that maybe people didn't want it. Maybe at week 3, they needed something different than what I thought they needed. Right? Maybe I thought they would care more about this topic and they don't care about it based on the feedback that you're getting. So I always encourage you to build something in real time. If it takes you 5 hours to build a presentation, right? Which totally possible. Whatever amount of time it takes you, maybe it takes you an hour, maybe it takes you 5 hours. I'd rather spend that 5 hours after knowing somebody is paying for it instead of before. Right? And that just makes sense, right? Think about a restaurant. A restaurant doesn't kind of speculate what they think you're going to eat and then make it for you, right? They wait for you to order it and then they make it. Make sense? All right, great. So here's a question that I have for all of you, which is, where would you like to start? Okay. So, it's nice to have green pastures, but if you're building a house, where would you like to start? Would you like to start from scratch, where you have to build it all and hire an architect and draft a plan and go and get permits and all that stuff? Or would you rather move into a beautiful model home and rearrange the furniture, or maybe paint a few walls, or, change the artwork up? Which one do you think requires less effort and time? The right or the left, right? Obviously, it's a rhetorical question. Most of you would probably want to move into the house on the right, especially if it's beautifully designed and you can see yourself living in it. Yes, you could build yourself a custom home, takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort to do something like that. So for those of you that want to go and build this all on your own, you've at least got a little bit of structure on what that process looks like and where to get started. For those of you that are considering perhaps moving into the model home, what I'd love to do is walk you through what that looks like if you were to work with us so that you could get a better understanding if working together is the right fit for you or not. And if it can save you time, if it can save you money, if it can save you heartache and frustration, then today you can decide if working together is the right next step for you. Okay. So you've gotten a little bit of insight into what it looks like to get coached and work with us. And we packaged up, 8 hours of training into this 1 hour session here so far. But I hope it gives you a little bit of insight if this is the right next step or something that you'd like to consider. If you've already decided that this isn't for you, then this is I invite you to continue on with your day. And thank you for joining me today. But if you're interested in learning more, then what I'm going to do now is kind of shift gears, and I'm going to walk you through what it looks like to be part of the accelerator and cover that in a little bit more detail. Okay. So if you're sticking around, you're giving me permission to share with you a little bit more about the accelerator. In the accelerator, we show you how to launch a simple, automated, and customizable turnkey solution in 90 days without being a technical or a clinical savant. Okay. You don't have to be Jeffrey Bland to launch this. You don't have to be Russell Brunson to launch this either. We give you a framework to build off of that's proven, and then you get to restructure it and design it and make it your own. Or you can use exactly what we've created and rebrand it and make it your own. So many of us have heard of white label supplements, right? How many of you have ever maybe had a supplement and said, man, this supplement works so amazing, I wish I could put my name and label on it? How many of you have ever said that to yourself? I know Cellcore products are really awesome, and it'd be great. I'm sure you guys get that request all the time. Can I private label this? Okay. So somebody's done all the research, somebody's done all the vetting, somebody's gotten all the approvals, all the permits, and what they enable you to do is basically put your label on it. And that's what we're doing here. You don't have to go through the laborious process that we did to get our programs launched, and you're able to implement what we've already done. So over 12 weeks, we take you through a structured and guided program where we help you identify your avatar, customize a solution for them, start branding and promoting and putting your message out there. And then as we go, we build out the technical tools that are necessary. So by the end of it, you have a complete turnkey solution for your business. Okay. And you have systems in place that are very easy for you to implement and to execute, and things that you can edit and modify. So here's how the program works, and here's what's included. We do 12 weeks of trainings over about 14 weeks. So we do have some gaps and breaks in there to give you a chance to catch up. And each of these trainings that we do is done live and also recorded, and you'll have lifetime access to the resources. You work together with us each week over 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Each of the trainings is interactive, kind of like what we did today. So it's not just a talking head training. We're engaging with you and we're answering your questions, and we're giving you the tools that you need in order to be successful. The Monday training is with me. Okay, we do laser focused Q&A and coaching, and we go through each of the modules. The Wednesday training is with our health coaches, Deepa, Alice, and Annalisa, because you actually go through our program and you're on the receiving end. So you get to see the process in action. And then on Fridays, we do technical trainings where we help you implement your EHR and, create your technical tools like your one-page website, your lead magnets, your email sequences, and so on and so forth. We have a wonderful coach that helps you do that. What you also get is you get a turnkey metabolic program. So just like I showed you a little bit earlier, we actually give you all of the keys to the kingdom, and you're able to rebrand and relabel what we've already created and customize it and make it your own. So if your angle is anxiety, guess what? Debbie can take this and change the name of her program, right? Could be the anxiety reset or whatever she wants to call it. And then she has to make just slight tweaks to the modules. and boom, she's done. Right? So literally in a week, she can take this 180-page manual and make it her own with a few simple edits and address it to her target audience. We also help you generate leads, right? So that's the lifeblood of your business, is people that are interested in working with you and solving the problem that you help them solve. We have a wonderful Facebook group and a private portal where you access the recordings and all the materials. And then at the end of the program, should you complete it, then you also get certified. So now we have a referral network. We can refer clients to you, and it's a way for you to promote your services as well. In addition to the trainings, we've also got some special bonuses that we've put together. And these bonuses are 4 different bundles. The first bundle is a client attraction bundle. So one of the first stages in building any business is attracting people who want to solve the problem that you solve. So we're going to teach you how to do that through social media. We're going to teach you how to do that in person. We're going to teach you how to do that offline as well. We're also going to give you a complete playbook on how to run a challenge, right? So one of the things that Debbie might do to really build up her audience is she might run a 5-day anxiety challenge, right? And over those 5 days, she might teach excerpts from her modules and give people aha moments and insights. And by the end of that, we want them feeling a little bit better, right? And if those that don't get complete resolution and who get some improvement, well, now she's positioned herself as an authority and an expert on the topic, so they know exactly who to turn to when they can't, when they're ready to. Okay. We also provide you with a templated and structured slideshow presentation. So now you're not having to build it all out from scratch. You can take what we've created and make it your own. I had a client message me the other day. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm giving a presentation tomorrow. Does anyone have a presentation they can share?" And within minutes, I had it over to her and she knocked it out of the park. So it makes it so much easier when you have a framework to work with. We also provide you with all the templates that you need. So instead of building things from scratch, we have a template that you can work with. And if you were at our 3-day event, you saw that we were actually able to build a website in an hour. Okay, so we can show you how to do things very quickly when you have all the right tools in place. The second bundle is our client transformation bundle. So we're going to share with you our swipe copy. So this is post and promotional emails and sequences and those type of things that we use to educate our clients. We share those with you. You also get all the modules and forms that we use in Practice Better shared with you as well. So now you don't have to build all these forms out from scratch, and you can edit and modify these as you see fit. As I mentioned, you also get a white labeled version of our manual and all the educational modules that go along with it. Okay, so all of that is done for you. And with a few tweaks, once again, you can make it appeal to your audience. In addition to that, bonus number 3 is a professional home studio bundle. We want you looking good and sounding good, especially if you're working with people online. We also provide you with technical training with our coach so that we're not just telling you what to do, but we're handing it to you on a silver platter. Okay, we're handing you the keys to the model home and then showing you how to move things around and rearrange things so you can make it your own. You get the private Facebook community, and we also start you off with a 21-day reboot where I've shared my 21 most powerful trainings, and those are available to you as well. And our fourth bundle, which I think is absolutely crucial, is that you go through our program as well. So by going through our metabolic program and being on the receiving end of care, you actually get to experience what that's like and decide, hey, I really love this. I'm going to incorporate it into my program. Or, hey, I don't like this, but here's how I can make it better. Okay. So you're able to experience one-on-one coaching with our team. You're able to experience your own personal transformation, record that transformation on your Aura Ring. And Deepa and I do a lot of wellness coaching and also provide you with a lot of clinical pearls to help you get amazing results with your clients. So the modules that we've created are simple and easy to follow, but we find that many of our practitioners have aha moments because we've made it so simple for them to understand and then communicate that with their clients. Okay, we're only as effective as our communication. So it's important that we're able to communicate effectively and impactfully. Throughout this process, you get 8 coaches and guides supporting you along the way, including myself our technical coach, Danielle, Deepa, Alice, and Elisa, Dr. Aaron, Carol, and Sarah. So we're here to make sure that you get amazing results. And our student to teacher coach ratio is about 7-1. So, there's a lot of people here to help you and to guide you and to coach you. So you get all of this, right? Everything that we talked about, everything that we've created to put our programs out there in the world to change and transform literally thousands of lives, we're sharing that formula with you. And we're allowing you to tweak it and modify it and make it your own so that you can build your signature program in no time, right? Literally, this is the fastest thing that's out there. I haven't seen anything that creates the results that this creates in the period of time that it creates and the transformation that it creates in the client being you that goes through the process as well. In addition to that, you also get a wonderful community that's here to cheer you on and support you and make sure that you're winning, and you get lifetime access to all these resources. Okay. Now I have a question. I'm curious, Debbie, because you're not necessarily new to the game. You might be new or perhaps reinventing yourself in this next leg of your journey. But what would you estimate something like this would cost, just at a ballpark? Or how long do you think something like this would take to build?
Well, I know most people would pay for this kind of coaching. It'd be at least $50,000, probably higher.
Okay. And how long do you think it would take to build all this out on your own?
To build? Oh, a couple of years.
Okay. So how cool would it be to build it in 12 weeks?
So cool. It's unbelievable.
And how cool would it be to do it at a fraction of that investment?
Yeah.
Right. Where you're getting everything that you need. And that's what we want to do for you. So here's how we've structured this as an affordable way as we can to deliver as much value as we can. So we've put all this together for you, and you have a couple of ways that you can get started today. First and foremost, if you want installments, then you have the option to do 12 installments of $1,251. So for less than the price of one new client a month, you would get access to all these tools and resources. If you like to maximize your savings, then you can do a single installment of $12,501. So for less than 8 new patients, you have all your systems and everything built out. Many of our clients, not all of them, okay, I want to be totally transparent, but many of our clients recover that investment within the first 12 weeks. So if you're entrepreneurial, you're action-oriented, you're fully committed, you're hungry, right? You're not going to make excuses. That sets you up for success. So how many of you think that you could get 8 to 10 new clients in this next 12 months if you had a system like this? Raise your hand if you could do that. Okay. So that's what we're thinking about, right? When we reduce this down to a unit of new clients, some of you said that your average lifetime value is $5,000, $3,000, $8,000. Jan said over $100,000. Right? So for some of you, this is 2 to 3 new patients. And once you have this system, you've got your own intellectual property. You're leveraged in a way that you've never been leveraged before. You've got a program that you can offer at 3 different price points: one-on-one care, one-to-many care, or one-to-infinity care. Okay. So you can build all that out in a very short period of time. What I'd like to do now is I want to show you what some of this looks like so you can actually see the resources that we've put together that might be helpful for you. I'm also going to share in the chat, I'm going to drop a link for those of you that are interested so that you can learn a little bit more and take action should you choose to. Okay. So I'm going to drop a link that you can go to. And this is the page where you can learn more about the program. Our next cohort starts May 8th, which is not this Monday, but the Monday after. And that's our orientation. Our official start date is May 15th. Okay. We have 50 spots available total. At this point, we have about 14 or so spots left. So we capped this because we want to make sure that we're delivering the highest quality information and being able to support you as best as we can. And usually our programs sell out. So we'd love to include you if this is something that aligns and resonates with you. So if you go to this link and you're ready to jump in, you'll just press this button and it'll take you to the page where you can enter your appropriate information. If you'd like to go over what I covered today in a little bit more detail, then you can watch this video. And if you'd like to schedule a call, you can click on this button here and you can schedule a time to meet. I'll also share in the chat where you can schedule with me personally. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions for you. And I will post that here in the chat. All right, so let's go through this. How many of you use Canva? Anyone here use Canva? All right, I love Canva. It's one of my favorite tools and it makes life so much easier. So here's our Living Light, Metabolic, and Reset guide. What's cool about this guide is that, I'll wait for it to reload here. So this metabolic guide has virtually everything that you need all in one place. Okay. And what's cool about this guide is that you're able to take all the resources that we've created and you can edit any one of these files. You can edit any one of these pages. You can add your own recipes. We've got over 100 recipes in here. And we've got a whole food plan, an anti-inflammatory, blood sugar balancing nutrition plan that's autoimmune friendly and so on and so forth. So that's all outlined in here. And everything that your client needs to get started is in here as well. I had a funny story. So one of my clients got our package and he didn't even have his first appointment. He just read the manual and started the program. And in 2 weeks, he lost 12 pounds and he was blown away. And he stopped snoring and there was a whole other bunch of benefits that he got. And I didn't even know he started. So that's how easy the program is laid out for people. They can read the book, read the manual, and get started on their own. Now, if you use Canva, you know how easy this can be to edit and to modify. So I can simply go in here, change any of the text. I can change any of the colors that I want to, and I can edit any pictures. And it becomes really easy. So, of course, you would change the welcome letter. You would put your picture in here. You would remove Alice and Deepa's picture, and you could modify this welcome note as you see fit. So it's really easy to do this. And we've created all of our files that we share with you in Canva. So we have memes, we have educational posts, we have all kinds of things that we share with you. And it's all created in Canva so that it's easy for you to edit. What I also wanted to share with you is some of the templates that we have to offer. These templates are really valuable because they enable you to take what we've created and by a click of a few buttons, you can make it your own. So I'll pull up something that maybe some of you have seen. So in the last few days during the event, we created a Stop Snoring website. So this was created in literally an hour using the templates that we provided. This might look a little bit familiar, but you can see how I've reapplied it to a totally different topic, although many of the talking points are very similar. Okay. Got my bio here. I've got some testimonials here. I've got some case studies that I've posted here. And I've got 3 different ways that I can help people. Okay. So this is something that we can help you build out. And we give you a list of all the assets that you need to build this out. And then we have a step-by-step training on exactly how to do this. So literally in a week or less, you can get your website done. How many of you would like to have your website done by the end of a week? Okay. So it helps when you have the right tools and resources. I'll share a story about how not getting a website done cost somebody hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I had a call with a lady. I won't mention her name. And she's got a list of about 8,000 people from her practice. And I said, wow, you must be packed. Your practice must be so busy. And she wanted to go into the virtual world. And I said, what's stopping you? Because you should be doing webinars, you should be doing education. She's like, well, I haven't finished my website. So I asked her, how long have you been working on this website? And she said, 3 years. Okay, so she's paid over $5,000. And 3 years later, she has no website, but she's sitting on a gold mine of leads that she could drive to a webinar. Right? So sometimes the psychology is more important than technology. Okay. So we realized that in the beginning, having something simple is important so you could direct people to it, right? Because one of the first questions people are going to ask you is, what's your website? And if you don't have somewhere to send them, then sometimes that conversation falls flat right there, right? We have to give a place that we can send people to. So we would share this with you and we share the formula on how to build it. Here's another example. Here's my simple lead magnet. Right. So I can send people to this lead magnet where if they want the guide on how to stop snoring, I just send them to this page. And guess what? They can enter their name and information. And boom, now I can nurture these people. I can educate them on this particular topic. So that can be very valuable, right? I can then send them to a thank you page. So once they go to this thank you page, then guess what? I ask them to join my Facebook community where there's a page I've created, and they can instantly download their Stop Snoring guide. So we could take, Debbie's program, and we could plug that right in here, right? We could teach her all the things that she needs to do and all the assets that she needs to have, and we could create a preliminary website. And here's what's beautiful about this is that we teach you step by step how to do this, but it's also super easy to do. And if she wants to add to it, she can. If she wants to edit it, if she wants to modify it, then it's very easy for her to do that. Okay. And we also coach you on how to do that as well. Here's another example. So if I wanted to create a guide on improving digestive health, some of you might be in the digestive space, the 5 simple steps to eliminate chronic digestive issues in 5 days or less without radically changing your diet or popping more pills. I created this as a gag. Okay. I literally created this as a gag, just as an exercise when I was going through this with my clients. And I had over 200 people ask me for the guide. Okay. So I knew that this is something people are interested in. I know that these people have digestive issues. I know they want fast results. And I know they don't want to change their diet. And I know that they don't want to take more pills. Right. So do I have a way to help them do that? Of course I do. And so I put together a simple 1-page guide, right? Because I didn't tell them I was going to send them a book. I just said I'm going to send them this 5 simple steps. And I created a 1-page guide in Canva. And now I can just send traffic here and they can get that guide. But it doesn't stop there, because what I then do is I educate them on this topic. Okay. And then I'm viewed as the subject matter expert on this topic in their eyes. So simple things like this can really help you draw in new leads. As I mentioned, we share with you our presentations. I've got literally hundreds of presentations that I can share, but we have some structured presentations that we share with you as well. And because we're out there promoting and offering this program, we would share with you the exact presentation that we are using so that you could rebrand it and make it your own. So you get the exact slide decks and everything that we're using, and then you're able to modify and edit them however you see fit. Okay. We also teach you how to put that program together. The next thing, this probably logged me out, so let me just log back in, is we use Practice Better because we believe Practice Better is one of the best EHR tools out there. You don't have to use Practice Better, but we like it because it allows us to create content and put it into modules. So here's all the modules that we've created. And guess what? you're going to go through this when you join us. So you'll get to experience what this is like on the receiving end. And you'll also be able to take these modules and plug them right into your account. So instead of having to rebuild it or start from scratch, you'll be able to leverage what we've created and make it your own. Okay, so here's kind of an insight into what it would look like. Got your attachment there. You've got your guide there. You've got your journal in here. You've got all these memes, 6 ways to improve digestion, tips for constipation. There's a little video in here for constipation. So you're able to add to this. You're able to subtract from this. You're able to leverage this however you see fit. Okay. Next thing we share with you is all of your courses and all of your trainings are nicely packaged up for you so that if you want to go back and watch any of the trainings, then you're able to do that. And you're able to actually have lifetime access to all of these tools as well. So everything goes into your courses and you're able to access that whenever you see fit. So here's an example. Let's see if it logged me out. 1 second. Okay, so what I want to show you is how we kind of wrap this up in a bow for you. So when you go through our trainings, everything is very nicely and neatly structured. So you've got the training that you can watch. You've got the tools that we share for the week. You've got a homework assignment. You've got the setup codes that you need. And then we annotate the video for you as well. So the beauty of annotating the video for you is that it enables you to not have to watch the entire video, but you can jump to exactly where you need to if you wanted to brush up your knowledge. So everything is time-stamped and easy for you to follow along with. Okay. So I wanted to show you that. And then I'll go back here. And so everything that you need is here. And we structure it in a way that's easy for you to follow. And again, you can watch it over and over again. You can also watch it with your team if you need to. So there you have it. I think I've outlined everything that I wanted to outline today. What I would love to know is if there's any questions that some of you have. I'm happy to answer them for you to make sure that you have clarity and certainty and you can make a educated and informed decision if this is the right next step for you. All right. My man, Bill, says he's ready to take action. Okay, Bill, I'm so happy to support you. All right. Sonia, Carrie, Kat, Danuta, Deborah, Debbie, Janet, Michael, Elizabeth, Bahar, I think Bahar is ready to jump in too. What questions do you have? I want to make sure that I can answer those for you. I see Kat's turned her camera on. Carrie, you wrote very interested. Is there any questions that you have that I can help you answer? There you are. Hey, you just have to unmute yourself. Good to see you.
Hi. No, I didn't have any questions. I'm thinking on the back end of it, the financial side of it, and I feel like I'm in that mucky middle. And this is a great way to kind of like get out of that space.
Yeah. So here's I know that I'll answer this because I feel like a lot of people might be stuck there, and we want to get out of the mud, right? And sometimes the more we try to struggle and fight, the more we sink into the mud. And it's not until somebody comes and pulls us out, right, who has a stable base that they're situated on, that we're able to get ourselves out of that. And so part of this is believing in yourself, right? You've got to be sold on yourself. And that first sale is us. Is what you offer valuable? Yeah. Is there a void in the marketplace? Is there a need for people to know what you know in your head? Yes, right? I see nodding your head, so I'm just gonna assume that's a yes. Do you have knowledge that needs to be packaged up in a way that's easy for people to consume and for you to deliver? Yes.
I think that's the way to, saying it that way too. It's like, how do I package it so people are understanding it in more of that kind of secular way?
Yeah. And so who's your audience? Who's your avatar?
So mine would be similar to the example that you had. Sorry, I had to leave for a little while. I had an appointment with Dr. Christy Hughes, conversation with her in between. But so people that are trying to build more of that, the stress and resilience piece of it, people with burnout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fun fact, when it comes to health, weight loss was one of the most researched topics. And right now it's actually stress. So stress and resilience are actually more researched than weight loss. So there is a huge shift that's taking place in the market. And so that's an important signal for really both of you to lean into, because mental health is really at an all-time low, I feel, for humanity at this moment. So definitely a huge need. And I don't think that the current solutions that are available to people are, helpful. I mean, they might help symptoms, but they don't actually help people get healthier. And, I feel like when we can articulate this correctly and we can help people understand, what their life can look like under your care versus what it will look like under the care of pharmaceuticals, it becomes very easy for people to understand that 3 years from now, their life will be radically different in a positive or negative way, depending on which path that they choose. And, working with you, I would assume that people can have a life that they couldn't even imagine, and that their anxiety or their stress issue could be the greatest blessing in their life because they decided to take action and work with you, right? Because they saw that you've packaged this up in a way that's easy for them to realize. Now, here's what I've also learned over the years is that our universe is basically a series of self-similar repeating patterns. So when you see, so this is kind of a meta conversation, but when you see that somebody's packaged things up in a way that's easy for you to implement and for you to execute, and that's what you want for your business, right? Then you just want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with that person, right? Or with that group or with that community, because that's going to be your fastest path to attract people who want that as well, right? So I always tell people, you don't want to hire a coach who doesn't have a coach. You don't want to hire a mentor that doesn't have mentors themselves, right? So we have to become who we want to attract. So if you want to attract people into your structured program, then you want to be in a program that's providing you that structure. And it doesn't have to be us, but it could be whoever you find is the right fit for you, that has the right solution for you. But I do encourage that if that's what you want, that you have to reach for it yourself. Okay. Carrie, I'm happy to, if you'd like, there's an opportunity to set up a time to speak with me privately. And I'm happy to do that and see if we can make sure that this is the right next step for you. Okay. I'll drop my link in the chat, and I'm happy to chat with you a little bit more.
I have it up already.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Anyone else have questions? I saw Debbie's very interested. Deb, I'd love to know if there's any questions that I can help you answer, or anything that I could help you in determining. Okay, so you just need to get the initial investment. Awesome. So let me share a little hack with you. And I see Kat. I see you have your hand raised, so I'll come to you next. So here's a little hack for all of you. If you need to identify, or if you need to raise that capital, most of us have credit cards. So what I would suggest is you time your payment in accordance to your credit card payment due dates. So many times we can actually get a 60-day delay if we time the payment correctly, because if we pay at the beginning of our credit card payment cycle, by the time we get the bill, it's 30 days later, and then we usually have 30 days to make the payment. So that's one way to delay having to actually make the payment, right? Because you put it on your credit card. So that might be a consideration for you. You can take a look at your credit card payment dates and see if that makes sense. The other option that we have for you is we do have third-party financing. So if you are interested in third-party financing and you qualify for it, then you can spread your payments out over a longer period of time. And there's no prepayment penalties for that. So that's another option for you. Michael's asking about the timing. So let's say my credit card payment is due the first of every month. Okay. And that's coming up here, right? So hypothetically. And so if I make a payment today, right, it goes on my credit card, but I'm not going to get a credit card statement until the first of the following month. So I would pay, close to the beginning of my credit card cycle. So I would pay like on the 2nd, let's say. I don't get a bill until the 2nd of the following month, and it's not due until the 2nd of the month after that. So when you put on a credit card, you have time to figure out, okay, how am I going to get this money together? But you also don't have to actually make a payment from your bank account till about 60 days later. Right? So it's just a way of pacing yourself correctly. And some people in 60 days have made already more money than that. Right? Like I shared with you earlier, Lori, who shared with us on Wednesday, she made $4,000 just by restructuring her program. What she was doing is offering a direct primary care office. She's a DPC, which means she was charging a monthly fee. So her clients pay $150 a month and they get crazy amounts of access to her. So for her to earn $4,000 would take 30 months, right? So somebody'd have to be a patient of hers for, almost 3 years before she could ever earn that kind of money. And so instead what she did is she created a $2,000 program for 10 weeks and she sold it to 2 people. And they were excited and they were thrilled that they get to work with her. And she was thrilled because she's like, oh my God, I'd have to sign up, 30 new patients in my direct primary care model in order for me to make that kind of money this month, right? And I have to do 30 new intakes, 30 new review of findings, 30 sets of lab reports. I mean, think about how much work that is versus signing up 2 new clients, right? So she's way more leveraged and she felt more confident because we were able to reshape her thinking. Okay. Michael, I can make a note here and I can reach back out to you. We use a company called 7-Figure Funding. I'll make a note and I'll send that over to you. Okay, and Debbie, I can send that over to you as well. All right, Sonia. Like you had a question. I'll go to Kat. Kat, are you able to unmute yourself and chat? I see you're driving, so I just want to be mindful. You should have a little button at the bottom of your screen with a microphone.
Got it. Hey,
there you go. Hey.
Thank you so much. I joined you on Thursday between appointments, and then I joined you today while I'm driving to DC to visit my daughter. So really good information. I have very specific questions just because probably like a lot of people on the call, just to have a really packed schedule. So there's live classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what are the times and the duration of those classes?
Great question. So they go from 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And the recordings are usually uploaded within 24 hours.
Great. Now, because I'm driving, some of the links that you've dropped in the chat, I was, of course, I was unable to grab. Are you going to send those out to our emails?
Yep, I can. We're going to send a comprehensive email with this recording to everybody. So you can go back and I'll share the links in the email that I send out.
Great. Thank you so much. It is my intention to join you. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Amazing. I'm looking forward to working with you as well. Drive safe, okay?
Yes, I'm going to get off the call now. I think I've gotten all my questions answered. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Good to see you again. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. Anyone else have questions? Carrie Fox, do you have a question?
I do.
All right, go for it.
Let's say this cohort fills up or something of that nature. When would the next cohort be?
So the next time we'll do this will probably be in the fall. So probably September, October-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay. And the pricing that you mentioned in the previous slides, is that American dollars, US dollars?
Yeah, it's US dollars.
Okay. And the payment plan option once a month for 12 months, do you still get the full program in the 90-day window?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So you get everything. We don't hold anything back. It's just an in-house financing option that we have for people. To be honest, the majority of people either have a low interest or no interest credit card. And that's what I suggest to people because, it's always, it's cheaper that way, right? Because your interest that you would pay on a low interest credit card will probably be more than the additional payments that you would make to us. We do have that option. We're not a bank, so we take on all that risk, and we're not designed to be a collection agency or anything like that. But we do offer that to people who need some additional assistance. And if somebody is in the program and they want to pay in full, we usually give them 30 days to do that. So if you want to lock in your spot, and then you're able to secure the funding or put it all together at the same time, then you have 30 days and we still honor the pay in full discount.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. I already scheduled a one-on-one with you next week, Tuesday, so that my husband can be a part of the conversation.
Okay,
But
awesome.
very forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. Excited to talk to you and him as well.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I would encourage you to go to that offer page that we had, and have him just go through that and maybe even watch that training. You can watch it. You can just listen to it in the background or have him listen to it so that he's well equipped to ask any questions that he has. All right, my pleasure. Okay, well, I don't want to put anyone else on the spot, but thank you all for being here and for attending today. Lots of love, and I'm looking forward to the many conversations that will take place. Yeah, we could do that. Have an awesome day. I will, be reaching out to those of you that indicated that you wanted some additional information on the financing. Usually get a response pretty quickly, so you can see if you qualify. Another option for some of you might be to apply for a zero interest credit card. So if you go to your bank or if you just type into Google zero interest credit card, then you might be able to secure some financing that way. This cohort, the orientation date is May 8th. So that's just an orientation where we get people get their footing and everything in place. And then the actual training starts May 15th. So we've got about 2 weeks or so until we officially start. This gives us enough time to get your packages out to you and everything that you need from us as well. Cool. Thanks all. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.